Hello everybody, this is Kiran, and now I would like to start audit classes in English for CA Inter students. Actually, for my for me, I got 58 in audit in July 21 attempt. Actually, it was many people felt tough, even I felt a little bit tough. Uh, but however, I got 58 marks in that. Otherwise, if the paper was reasonable, then I would have got more marks, but even then I got 58 marks, almost near to exemption, 2 marks or less. Okay, so what I'm planning to do is now I would like to uh, take audit classes. So that will be helpful for CA Inter students, that way English. In English I will cover entire study material. Actually, I'll cover entire study material. First thing, how we have to prepare for exam is, first you have to cover the study material. That is basic thing. Minimum 1 or 2 times you have to study. Minimum 1 or 2 times you have to study for understanding the various concepts. Then you can follow my lectures. Otherwise you can follow any other lectures also, but I am providing for free for all inter students for audit classes. Okay, in English. In English, not in Hindi, because I don't know Hindi. Even though if I know, I will be taking class in English, and I will provide some charts. Those charts are beautifully prepared one by CA Katik Agarwal sir. I took his permission and he has agreed for that to make classes with his charts. Okay, with his charts I am making the classes. So the charts, I will explain how the charts are there. He has prepared charts very beautifully, that the entire study material has been transformed into charts. Entire study material has been transformed into charts. If you study, if you read the concept one time in study material and you come to charts, if you see the chart, then you can understand the concepts very easily, and also you can remember. You can remember easily. If you revise the charts for 3 times, there are total 210 slides are there. 210 slides are there. With that, if you prepare all the 210 slides, you can get more than 60 marks. More than 60 marks you can get with the 210 slides. Like if you take ICA study material, how many pages? Those two modules are very big, right? And also you have audit announcements, and audit announcements actually we need not to cover, because majority of auditing standards have been covered in the subject, like in the main material only. So if you cover ICA study material and along with my charts, like charts is the ultimate actually. ICA study material is the for understanding only, but you have to follow charts. And if you wish, if you want, you can follow my lectures, because I am explaining the lectures using the charts. Those are very beautifully prepared. I'll explain. I'll show the charts also. Then you have to revise 3 times. The entire charts you have to revise 3 times. Then MCQs, you have to practice. ICS MCQs booklet, entire ICS audit MCQs booklet you have to practice. Then you have to revise all topics day before exam. Day before exam you have to revise all the topics. Whatever you have studied thoroughly, you have to revise all the topics without missing. Without missing, you have to follow. And also what are the important chapters, and which chapters you have to cover. I'll make separate video. Okay, I'll make separate video on that. What are the topics you have to cover, what are the chapters you have to cover, and what we can actually little bit ignore. Okay, what we can little bit ignore, I will cover separately in a separate video. Okay, so we'll go to charts now. We'll go to charts. First chapter is Introduction to Audit. Actually, in ICS statement, it is Nature, Objective, and Scope of Audit. Nature, Objective, and Scope of Audit. If you want to get the charts, you join my Telegram channel that I have given in the description. You can join and you can get the charts there. Okay. Shall we start? Shall we start the class now? Okay. Now we'll start. So one more thing. These charts are prepared by Katik Agarwal sir. CA Katik Agarwal sir. I took his permission. Actually, I studied only these charts and I got 58 marks, even though question paper was tough. July exam. The question paper is easy, then you can get more than 60. Maybe you can get 60, 70 also. It is very simple. You have to cover all these 210 charts. And also for vouching and verification, I'll give, he has prepared one list that is very beautiful. If you follow those basic steps, any vouching and verification concept you can write. Okay, also I'll do analysis of my answer sheet, my audit answer sheet, and advanced accounting answer sheet, ESSM also I'll planning to do. So now we'll start the class. Okay, what is audit? What is audit? This entire content has been taken from study material. No manipulation, no word changed, anything has not been done. We have not manipulated anything. Sorry, sir has not manipulated anything. Entire content has been taken from study material, and that has been clearly made as a chart so that we can understand easily. What is audit? First, audit is an independent examination. Independent examination. It is not dependent examination. It is independent examination. Of what? Examination, we all know. Examination means testing or testing, right? Testing. Examination means like going in depth and all. And we have to examine, like how you appear for exam, they will test, right? So financial statements, independent examination without depending on anyone. We have to examine. What we have to examine? Financial statements we have to examine. Financial statements we have to examine. Okay, of what? Financial statements of entity, any entity. Financial statements of any entity. That entity can be profit oriented or not profit oriented. Either the entity can be profit oriented or not profit oriented. Irrespective of, irrespective of, without considering its size or legal form, be it small company or small firm or small individual, or whether it's a company or association or cooperative society, individual, without considering its legal form, we have to conduct independent examination of its financial statements. Financial statements of what? Entity. Okay, what we have to do, sir? Okay, we'll examine everything independently of entity, whether it's a profit oriented or not, without considering its size or legal form. Okay, what we have to do, sir? We have to express an opinion. Express an opinion. So if you go for an exam, sorry, if you go for a movie, if your friends ask you, you just give a review or opinion on the movie. You have to give an opinion, right? So in the same way, once we conduct the examination, independent examination of financial statements of any entity, then we have to express an opinion. This is our ultimate thing, ultimate objective. You have to express an opinion on what? Thereon. Thereon. What is meant by thereon here? Thereon means financial statements. Thereon means financial statements. So, audit is an independent examination of financial statements of an entity to express an opinion on financial statements, to express an opinion on financial statements irrespective of whether entity can be profit oriented or irrespective of size or legal form. Okay, I hope you got clarity about what is audit. This is basic thing. In exam also they might ask one MCQ. There is a chance they might ask one MCQ. Now what is objective of audit? As per SA 200, what is the objective? Objective means what is the outcome we expect after audit, after the entire audit? What is the outcome? What is the outcome we have to expect as per SA 200, standards on auditing 200? Okay, our objective is to obtain means to get reasonable assurance. Not absolute. Reasonable means like acceptable, which is less than 100%. Reasonable means acceptable assurance we have to get. Whether about what? To obtain reasonable assurance of what? Whether financial statements as a whole, not only profit and loss account, not only balance sheet, not only notes, not only assets, not only liabilities, not only expenses, not only incomes, or not only fixed assets. We have to obtain reasonable assurance whether financial statements as a whole in overall view, whether financial statements are free from material misstatements, not ignorable, not immaterial misstatements. Material means what? Very significant, very important, which can affect the decisions of the users. Users means who are the users? Investors, creditors, employee, sorry, all users include all creditors, employees, basically investors is the are the major users of the financial statements, right? So based upon our opinion, they will take some decision whether to invest or to sell off the shares or anything. Or if it's a individual business, after our opinion, he will consider what are the improvements we have to do in the business. He will decide. So, first audit is an independent examination of financial statements. Okay, for what, sir? To express an opinion. Okay, how we will express an opinion? We have to go for objectives of that. To how we have to express an opinion. First, we have to obtain reasonable assurance of financial statements as a whole. That financial statements are free from material misstatement. Sir, financial statements don't have any material misstatements. That to what reasonably you have to obtain assurance, not absolute. You cannot clearly give certificate that no material mistake. There might be chances. Why? There might be chances material misstatements can be included, because of inherent limitations that we will cover. Inherent limitations, because of that we might not get uh, we might not get uh, what is that, absolute assurance. We can only get reasonable assurance. So we'll check the inherent limitations now. Inherent limitations, there are the inherent limitations. Okay, now we'll cover. So there what we have said, we have got reasonable assurance. So we have to get reasonable assurance, right? Reasonable assurance. Why we only get reasonable assurance, not absolute means 100%. Perfect. There are no questions in the financial. Exactly perfect. There are no problem. But we'll get only reasonable. Why? There are chances where the material misstatements might include in the financial statements. We all know. I hope you all know financial statement. What are financial statements? Balance sheet, profit and loss account, notes to account, cash flow statements, changes in equity share capital. So inherent limitations of audit. Those two topics are interlinked. That's why I'm covering inherent limitations here only. Auditor cannot obtain absolute assurance. Why? He cannot obtain 100% assurance. He cannot give 100% assurance to the users. Why, sir? Why he cannot obtain 100% assurance? Because he, because of inherent limitations. Okay, he can obtain only reasonable assurance, not expected to reduce the audit risk to zero. Not expected to reduce the audit risk to zero. What is audit risk? Audit risk is the risk that auditor can express an inappropriate opinion. What is audit risk? We'll cover in detail in the further classes. Okay, we just have a small understanding that audit risk is the risk or a chance or a probability that auditor might give an inappropriate opinion on financial statements. What is audit risk? We'll cover in detail. This is the basic thing. Audit risk is the risk that auditor might express an inappropriate opinion on the financial statements. Wrong opinion. Though the financial statements are perfect, he might give modified opinion. Okay, if the financial statements are not perfect, he might give clean opinion. Also, we'll discuss different types of opinions also. First, these are the basics. First, you have to cover. Then slowly we'll go to the subject. Okay, and the first time you might have, if you are listening the class for very first time, you might be having some difficulties. some difficulties in understanding, you need not to worry. Once you listen all the classes and again you start from the scratch, you will understand all the concepts. You can interlink. I am trying to interlink all the concepts wherever possible. So audit risk, it is now it is difficult to cover all. That is a big concept. So now I am just giving the brief. Okay, where are we? Reasonable assurance. Why we auditor can get only reasonable assurance, not absolute, because of inherent limitations. Inherent means like because inbuilt. Inherent means inbuilt limitations. Limitations means what? Drawbacks. Drawbacks. Drawbacks means we cannot do anything on that. We have to accept. You cannot do anything on that. Inherent limitations. Okay, if you take example, um, if you take any example, what we can take, the Indian political system, there are so many corruption is going on everywhere. I'm not taking any political party, but it happens everywhere. From small person in the political party to majority, so some high level it will go, not like a very big level. It can't go because they can't involve directly. So the lower people, majorly everyone will do corruption. What we can do, general public cannot do anything. We have to choose the perfect guy only. We don't have any option, right? That is a limitation, inherent limitation. That's how our system has developed. We can't do anything. We have to accept and move on. We try to reduce the limitation. How we can reduce? By choosing the perfect leader. Like out of 4 5 leaders, we have to select one leader who is better than all others. That's what. So in the same way, limitation is something which we cannot do. So all that limitations we have to reduce by applying our professional judgment and by performing some other audit procedures. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, you got reasonable assurance. You cannot get absolute, only reasonable. Why? Because of inherent limitation. What is inherent limitations is discussed here. Nature of financial reporting, important. One, two, three, there are three. These three are important. This is also important. You have to, all entire concept is important. If you go to study material, it is lengthy, but here it is simply given, very simply. The chart has been prepared. Okay, I hope. So nature of financial statement, nature of financial reporting, nature of financial reporting. What is financial reporting? Financial reporting means preparation of financial statements and reporting. Like how they prepare financial statements. What is the nature of financial reporting? How they prepare financial statements. Like in preparation of financial statements, it involves judgments, judgments by management. What is judgment? Judgment is something is done with our our mind. It is not based on any rule or regulation. It is not based on any law. It is not based on any rule. It is completely based on personal judgment. Okay, not personal, professional judgment. Like management will do some judgment based upon their experiences, on their knowledge. How, for example, there are debtors. Assume there are debtors. Debtors are generally they will be having some 10 lakhs debtors on an average in the balance sheet. Assume. Okay. As per their past experience, they wanted to make provision for doubtful debts. Provision for doubtful debts. That is 2%. That can be 2%, or it might increase also. It might be 0%. They don't know, but as per their experience, that is 2%. Here, that is that itself is not correct. The judgments, what management do itself is not correct, not 100% correct. That itself is a judgment which is not 100% correct. Doubtful. It might, that 2% doubtful debts might become 5% after the financial year, or it might become zero. So at the end, or as on the balance sheet, how you can say that 100% it is perfect? You cannot say, right? The judgment itself is, we don't know whether it's 100% correct or not, right? In the financial statements. So management, whatever they made judgments, like provision for provision for doubtful debt, provision for taxation. Provision for taxation also sometimes become high or low. That happens in companies. So we cannot estimate certain things with perfection. That's how it works. So because of this, we cannot get reasonable, we cannot get absolute assurance, 100% assurance, perfect assurance we cannot get. We can only get reasonable assurance. So these are our subjective decisions based upon certain different circumstances. It will change based upon different circumstances and situations and events. It might change. Subjective decisions and assessments based upon their decisions and assessments, their calculations, and it might change. What will change? Judgments. Okay, judgments in sorry judgments involve Judgments involve subjective decisions and assessments and degree of uncertainty. There is no certainty. Uncertainty means there is no guarantee. There is no 100% guarantee. Okay, there is no 100% guarantee. There is a still chance of wrong wronggoing. There is a still chance of wronggoing, so there is no certainty. The judgments are not always 100% perfect. The judgments itself is not perfect. How you auditor can give 100% assurance? The management has made judgments that we cannot say. It might go wrong, it might go other way, it might deviate anyway, right? We cannot say. The judgment itself is not correct, then how we can give 100% assurance? That is one thing. Now, interpretation of certain matters may differ from person to person. Interpretation. Interpretation of certain matters. Okay, interpretation of certain matters might differ from person to person. One user might understand one thing in different way, one way. The other user might understand that in different way. To take example, assume um, assume there is closing stock in the balance sheet. Closing stock is there. Okay, one person might understand that closing stock. One second. Okay, interpretation of certain matters may differ from person to person. Closing stock we are taking. So closing stock, one person might understand that closing stock is should be valued at cost. Some person might understand that it should be valued at NRV. But as per accounting standard, we have to do it cost or NRV, whichever is lower. Okay, but depends upon person. One person might understand in one way. So one management might think how we can reduce our value, but accounting standards will not say we should do as per accounting standards. But management understanding is different. Accounting understanding is different. Okay, the same way inside management also one person might think in one way. In the same way, we cannot understand everything. Like everyone cannot understand things in the same way. It will differ. It will differ from person to person. This is one limitation. So nature of financial reporting is one limitation. What is that? Judgments and interpretation might differ from one person to one person. Why judgments? 2 points is important here. Judgments and interpretation will differ from one person to one person. Then nature of audit procedures. Nature of audit procedures. Nature of, like how we do audit procedures. That is also one limitation. There are practical and legal limitations to auditors' ability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, accounting estimates. We cannot, there are practical and legal limitations to auditors' ability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Okay, for example, accounting estimates. Why, like we cannot obtain information. So what are the practical and legal limitations? Complete information may not provide. Management may not provide complete information. They don't provide only. What you can do? How you can give 100% absolute assurance? They are not giving proper information, right? Even though sometimes they do it intentionally, sometimes they do it unintentionally. Like the information might be available, but they forgot to give, and you might forgot to ask. Okay, and fraud may be carefully organized to conceal it. If there is a fraud, will they do fraud like fraud? Will they do publicly saying that okay, I am doing fraud by giving all hints? They will plan perfectly without knowing to others, without being revealed to others, without being disclosed, or they don't give any hints. If you have watched Money Heist series, how 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 perfectly they will plan. They will have plan for every wrong. If anything goes wrong, they had expected. They will expect everything, and accordingly they'll plan. Okay, so fraud will conceal. They will carefully organize and they will conceal it without being caught by the auditor. So in such case, how auditor can find out the fraud that is properly planned? How we can identify? Even though there is a good knowledge with the auditor, even though sometimes auditor cannot find frauds which are properly planned. Okay, audit is not official investigation. We are not. So there is one good saying: auditor is not auditor is not a bloodhound. Auditor is not a bloodhound. Auditor 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 is not a bloodhound. He is a watchdog. He is a watchdog. There is one famous quote. Auditor is not a bloodhound. What is bloodhound does? In the investigation, it will smell everything, all the suspicious things and people. It will smell. Okay, it will have a proper skills. Okay, only for investigation, who has done, how it is done, like in that case. But it is not just like auditor need not to bother about fraud, but he should be careful about fraud. He should not negligent. He should not act negligently. If it has come to his notice during his audit, it should be reported to the appropriate authorities, to central government and also to the management. There are certain provisions to fraud which we will cover in further classes. SA 240. Okay, he is a watchdog. He has to keep looking and keep checking. He has to perform his duties. During his process, any frauds has been caught, then he has to report. But he should not go and check only for frauds. Yeah, his duty is to obtain reasonable assurance for the financial statements as a whole, not to detect fraud. Not to detect fraud. His objective is to check the financial statements as a whole and obtain reasonable assurance and to express an opinion thereon. Okay, he should not go and check. He should not go and investigate thinking that there is definitely as a fraud. It is not his objective. His objective is to obtain reasonable assurance and to express an opinion on financial statements. Okay, now timeliness of financial reporting and balance between benefit and cost. Timeliness timeliness of financial statement. Some audit procedures are time consuming. Audit procedures sometimes will take time and also cost. Okay, some audit procedures will take lot of time. If you want to go very depth for audit, it will take lot of time. When the auditor performs more time, it will become more cost. Auditor has to charge more for the client. Okay, which will not be very good, which will not be very favorable for the client. So what that's why we go for sample checking. We don't do 100% checking, right? We don't go and check each and every transaction in the business. So if you want to check each and every transaction, 1 year is not enough. Like 1 year transactions, how we can check in 2 3 months or 4 months? Audit happens generally 3 or 4 months. Statutory audits, concurrent, sorry, this internal audit and all is different matter. Okay, statutory audits generally happens after the closure of financial statement. From April or May, it will start around uh, May, June, July, August, around September, August, September, it will end. Mostly August it will end. Okay. Same way, time consuming and cost for audit may exceed the benefit due to which auditor omit procedures. Okay. Procedures are time consuming, cost for audit may exceed benefit due to which auditor may omit such procedures. Since it is time taking and costly, some auditor has to omit certain procedures. He cannot perform all audit procedures, all 100% checking he cannot do. He has to definitely skip some procedures wherever he feels necessary. and matter difficulty, time or cost involved not in itself a valid basis for auditor to omit process for which there is no alternative. When there is no alternative, he has to skip, not in itself a valid basis. Difficulty time, difficulty, time or cost involved is not itself a valid basis for the to omit, or there is no alternative. Okay, on itself a valid basis for the audit to omit audit process for which there is no alternative. Right, when there is no alternative, he has to skip. Sorry, when there is no alternative, he should not skip it. Just not because difficult time, but it has, it should not be. It should have a valid basis. Okay, he should not simply skip certain articles. When he feels that it is okay to skip, then only he has to skip. Otherwise, he should not skip. Other matters. First thing is nature of financial statement. Second thing is audit procedures. Audit procedures, there are certain practical limitations, legal limitations. Based on what are the practical limitations? Management may not provide information. The frauds may concealed properly, like carefully, and is not actually. It is not an investigation. That is a limitation. Auditors audit procedure has its own limitations. That's timeliness, time and cost benefit. He cannot spend lot of time. Okay, he cannot spend lot of money, and the auditor or client will not give the fees whatever charged by auditor. That is one matter. And also the timeliness of financial reporting means we have certain limitations where we have to submit the financial reporting. Sorry, complete the financial statements, and the AGM provisions are there. Within that dates, we have to complete entire audit, and we have prepare financial statement should be prepared, audit should be done, and it should be reported to the shareholders. That is the limitation. Like this year's audit, we cannot lag till second year, so it will delay. That's why they have put some limitation. And there are some other miscellaneous limitations. These limitations are particularly significant. Certain cases, limitations are particularly, there are certain cases where these are very significant. What are they? Fraud. If there is a fraud, that is a big limitation. As we said here, fraud will be, they will carefully conceal it. If anyone, management or but assume if the management has done the fraud, management itself has done the fraud, then what auditor can do? That is a limitation. They will definitely plan very carefully because they all know what are the internal controls, how the entity works. So that's how Satyam Ramalingan Raju case, Satyam scam has done. Almost majority scams, big scams in India are being done by management, not the employees. If the fraud is by employee, he cannot do, no, he can't even do more than 1 crore maximum any big corporate. But if it is done by management, that is a very big limitation. Because of that, we cannot give 100% assurance. Fraud by management. Then non-compliance with laws and regulations. Like there are hell lot of laws in India, hell lot of number of laws and regulations in India, and it is very impractical. Actually, even there are big corporates which will violate laws. Very certain small cases, not big important provisions. They will unknowingly, unknowingly they will violate some laws. Okay, unknowingly they will violate some laws, but later they will correct when it comes to their notice. They will correct by paying some penalties or facing whatever legal actions are there. Okay, if there is a non-compliance of any law and regulation, how auditor can do? Auditor cannot go and read whatever, he will read important everything, but 100% laws and provisions has been complied or not, he cannot check. It is not his duty. His duty is to obtain a assurance, as reasonable assurance for the financial statements as a whole, not for everything. Assume it is a pharma company. For pharma company, so many laws will applicable. For that, you cannot read every law that is applicable to pharma company and check whether all provisions have been complied or not. Okay, in drug preparation or anything, like you cannot do it, right? There is a practical limitation, that is also a limitation. So if there is any non-compliance of laws and regulation, that is also certain. You cannot perfectly identify that and say this is perfectly complied or not complied. We cannot say. No, existence and completeness of related parties transaction. Or we can say that related party transaction is there. Of course, we have to keep an eye on checking whether related party transactions are there. It is the duty of the management to report, but also we have to have a look whether there are any prima facie related party transactions. Prima facie means if you see, then we will understand. Assume there is a subsidiary company which is operating in the same office. A company and B company is subsidiary. A's subsidiary is B company which is operating the same company. Okay, their office spaces are same, but auditor knows that. But the same thing, the transactions, related party transactions have not been reported in the financial statement. Okay, then auditor prima facie understand there is a related party and the same is not been reported. If he is negligent about that, then he is legally liable. Okay, but if there is a transaction with his wife, assume there is a relationship with owners or any, like for example, any owner is there, owner's wife or children's, between transactions are there, those are not at arm's length price, not reasonable prices, then such transactions we cannot identify, such transactions and events we cannot identify. Okay, further condition or events that may cause entities to cease to exist as going concern. Conditions for going concern. What is going concern is the important, what is that, there is going concern is basic, right? In AS 1 it will cover. These are the assumption, basic assumption, assuming that it will run for another 1 year. How auditor will understand going concern events are properly been taken into account while preparing financial statements by the management? They might skip. They might skip. We can't expect. We can't estimate, right? They might ignore, or they might not understood. They might not understood their going concern capability. Okay, the management itself cannot sometimes identify. How auditor can identify? That is also one limitation. Okay, fraud by management, non-compliance of laws and regulations, existence of existence and completeness of related party, existence and completeness of related party, then future conditions or events that might cause entity to cease to exist as a going concern. Okay, these are the limitations, inherent limitations. Because of these, auditor cannot give absolute assurance, 100% assurance he cannot give. That's the reason. I hope you understood. Now, so we are here. Objective of audit to obtain reasonable assurance. Why we'll obtain only reasonable assurance we discussed, because of inherent limitations. Then to report on financial statements, and to communicate as required by essays in accordance with auditor's findings. One is to report on financial statements. On what we are expressing opinion? On financial statements. You cannot simply say, okay, my opinion is this and this and this. It's not like, we have to report to certain parties. You have to prepare the audit report in the format they have given as per essay, as per different essays. If you check 700 series, it is all about standards on auditing. Like all essays are about audit reports. Essay 700 series. We will cover that later. Okay, so it is not just like, okay, I checked everything, I examined independently, so I'm expressing an opinion, just sit, management, this is my opinion. It's not like that. You have to prepare a report on financial statements. You have to attach the financial statement, attach on the you have to prepare audit report and attach financial statements to that, and you have to sign on the audit report and financial statements and everything, and to communicate to the management, generally management. If it is a company, management. If it is an individual, then is owner. Partnership firm also owner, managing partner or owners. We have to sorry, we have to communicate. First we have to prepare a report and communicate. What are the objectives of auditor? Okay, objective of audit as per SA 200. First, to obtain reasonable assurance, financial statements are free from material misstatements, material misstatements, and to report and communicate. There are 3 points you have to remember. If in the exam they ask, one is to obtain reasonable assurance, two is to report, and three is to communicate. This is important. Hope the definition is clear. Now, how do a person conducting audit satisfy himself that financial statements don't mislead anyone? How do a person who is the person here, person who is the person here, auditor only, satisfy himself that financial statements don't mislead anyone? Person generally here is auditor only. Okay, how, like, how he has to satisfy himself? Financial statements don't mislead anyone. Financial statements are misleading anyone. They are perfect. They are perfectly prepared, fairly prepared, properly prepared. Okay, they don't mislead. How one has to satisfy? How auditor has to satisfy himself? By checking all this. First, basic thing. These are the basic things. Entries in the books of accounts. Entries. Entries in the books of accounts. Entries in the books of accounts are adequately supported by evidences. Okay, this is what we do. Books of account, we do vouching, right? Every entry, what is the entry? Journal entries, all journal entries should be supported by sufficient evidences. For example, there is a purchase of fixed asset. Purchase of fixed asset is there. When in the financial statement there is a building, they have mentioned 1 crore, land and building 1 crore, which is purchased during the year. Okay, 1 crore assume. But there are no documents only. They are saying we have purchased 1 crore building. That's showing. Oh, where is the building? They are showing physical. They are taking you to outside the office and saying, see, the in front of our present building. That is the building we have purchased. And okay, auditor should accept that. No, you should ask for evidence. You should ask for evidence. You should ask evidence. What is the proof? What is the evidence that you have purchased? That is in the name of company only. How we can say? You have to verify the evidence every transaction. If even there is a purchase of pen, entries means what? All journal entries. In expenses, if you go, there are salaries to 10 employees, but 10 employees salaries are being entered in the tally or books of accounts. Books of accounts here means tally only. Tally means any accounting software, tally or SAP, anything, any accounting software. Generally, books of accounts means any accounting software. Hope you have studied some knowledge about, you will be having some knowledge about tally. I'll take tally because everyone can relate to that. Books of account here is tally actually. Any accounting software. Okay, in accounting software there is vouchers where it is saying there are 10 salaries for 10 employees. Okay, then he gone and check for, but there are no supportings. There are no supporting. How much amount is for whom? Simply they are saying 10 employees salary, salary account debit to bank account is there. But when he checked there, there are total employees in the organization only 8. The other 2 are fake employees. So this will come up when we check the evidences of each entry. But due to timeliness limitation, as we discussed inherent limitation, we cannot do 100% checking. Though they are saying entries of books of account adequately means sufficient. Adequately supported with sufficient and appropriate. Sufficient means what? Relevant quantity. Appropriate means what? Relevant, related, like proper evidence is there. Okay, should be there. What, how we'll do, we'll discuss in the further chapters. We'll cover how everything goes, how vouching and verification will do, how we obtain audit evidence, what are the various techniques or what are the various procedures, we'll cover in the next chapters. Okay, next, first thing is what? Entries in the books of accounts should be sufficiently supported with evidence. Then accounts have been drawn up with reference to the entries in the books of accounts. What we said now, first entry should be having evidence. Then account should be drawn up with reference to the books of accounts. First thing, journal entries should be supported by evidence. Then, based upon that entries means books of accounts. Based upon that books of accounts, accounts has to be prepared. Here accounts means P&L account and balance sheet, or all accounts. Generally, that is what all accounts, all vouchers should properly prepare. Uh, all accounts means there are entries, expenses are there, salaries are there. Total salary account you should check, that should properly reflected. Then entire it goes to trial balance. Then financial statement, profit and loss account and balance sheet should be properly drawn up according to the books of accounts. Books of accounts are different, and balance sheet simply they prepared manually. They took some pen and paper, then they drawn the balance sheet and the profit and loss account. Simply whatever the building, whatever they want to mention, it is not correct. It should be properly prepared from the books of accounts. Okay, from the books of accounts we have to prepare. Next, third point is, none of the entries in the books of accounts have been omitted. None of the entries have been omitted. None of the entries in the books of accounts have been omitted in the process of compilation. The process of compilation. Compilation means what? Preparation of financial statements. Compilation means preparation of financial statements. Nothing which is not in the books of accounts has been found. Nothing in the nothing which is which is not in books of accounts should found. Nothing which is not in the books of accounts found. There is one thing, everything has been properly incorporated or not. There should not any missing thing. There should not be any entry that should be missed. There should not be anything that is not in books of accounts. Okay, whatever books of accounts is there, it should not miss. Okay, whatever is there in books of account, it should not miss. And there should not be anything outside books of accounts. Should not be anything outside books of account. There should not be any omissions from the books of account. There should not be any inclusions, additional inclusions apart from books of accounts. Next, fourth thing, the information conveyed by the statement is clear and unambiguous. Clear and unambiguous. Clear, very clear. If one sees that, he has to understand. One sees that, he should understand. Should not, without any confusion. Unambiguous means clear, and without confusion, clear, in clear terms, understandable. Okay, then financial statements amounts are properly classified, described. Financial statements amounts, various amounts should be properly classified, described and disclosed in conformity with the accounting standards. So simply saying, accounting standards has to be followed. Accounting standards has to be followed. Accounting standards have to be followed. Simply saying, accounting standards has to be followed. While preparing financial statements, it should be comply with accounting standards. If Indian accounting standards are applicable, then he has to comply with Ind AS. Okay, and the statement of the accounts present a true unfair picture of the operational results. True unfair picture of the operational results and assets and liabilities. True unfair picture of the operational results mean there are 10 lakh sales, assume 10 lakh sales. In fact, generally 10 lakh sales, really 10 lakhs, assume 8 lakhs is cash sales. 8 lakhs has come to our bank account. 2 lakhs is credit sales, assume. 2 lakhs is credit sales. So the entire 10 lakhs should be properly reflected in the books of accounts, and again it should be reflected in the financial statements. What, assume if we have done 15 lakhs, that is window dressing only, window dressing. Okay, we should not do like that. Whatever has happened in reality in the business, the same should reflect in the books of accounts. How? True means True means true. True means what? Y'all know, right? True means true. Um, I don't know how to. True means true. True or false, you know, right? Fair. Fair means like correct. Fair. Should not be any, we say that unfair. It is not justified. Right? It should not justify. Should be justified. Justifiable. Should be true and justified. Picture. Picture of what? True picture, fair picture of operational results. Not books of accounts should be true picture, fair picture of operational results and assets and liabilities. Operational results means what? Profit and loss account. Assets and liabilities means what? Business, balance sheet and balance sheet. So operational results should be true and fair in the P&L account. Assets and liabilities should have a true and fair in the balance sheet. Statements of account should be true and fair. That should reflect true and fair view of the operational results and assets and liabilities. So, hmm, so how one person has to satisfy himself that financial statements do not mislead anyone. First thing is, first all entries should have all journal entries in the books of accounts. Books of accounts. I'm saying accounting software. It can be Tally or SAP or SIFI. SIFI also one software. Evidence, including even Excel also. Some companies they will not companies. Some organization they will prepare their accounts in Excel also. Excel, Microsoft Excel. Even that also books of account. Wherever they are preparing their accounts, ledgers, trial balance and balance sheets. That is called books of accounts. Should have proper evidence. Okay. Then all these books of accounts, based upon these books of accounts only, accounts should be drawn. What accounts? P&L and balance sheet should be prepared. Then there should not be any omission. There should not be any additional inclusion. And all the information should be clear and unambiguous without any confusion. Then it should comply with accounting standard. Should comply with accounting standard, and it should give true and fair picture of the operational results and assets and liabilities. Okay. Okay. Now, I hope you got clarity. Now, meaning of certain keywords. I'll go fast here. If you have any doubts, you can ping me in Telegram. Independence. What is independence? Independence implies the judgment of judgment of a person should not subordinate to the wishes or direction of another person. So if one person is taking a decision, should not be based on other person's wishes or direction. One person's judgment should not be based on other person's wishes or directions. Based upon his direction or based on his wishes, we should not take the judgment. We should not make any judgment. That is called independence. Based upon others wishes or direction, we should not take judgments. Then that is called independence. If we are taking decisions or our judgments based upon others wishes or directions, then that we are not independent, we are dependent. We are not independent, we are dependent. Who might have engaged him? Who might have engaged him? Who is the person here who might have engaged him? Like management. Generally, management based upon management directions or wishes. If we take our judgments or if we take our decisions, that is not independence. It should not only exist in facts. Should not only exist in facts. Should not only in the sayings. Should not only in the sayings or doings. It should also appear to exist. So our behavior and our action should appear to exist. We simply should not say we are independent. We don't take decisions based upon others' directions or wishes. You should appear based upon your actions to all reasonable persons, and independence includes independence of mind and independence of appearance. Independence should be in mind, like our thought process, our actions, our behavior, our thought process and our action should be independent, should not based on our knowledge and professional judgment we have to do. take judgments not on decisions not based upon others' wishes or directions. And appearance, our action should also be independent based upon the decisions we take as per our independent mind. Our action should also be appears in like that. Okay. Then what is financial statements? We'll discuss financial statement. What is financial statements? It's a structured representation of historical financial information. Includes notes. It includes related notes. It is a structured. What is the structure? Depends upon entity to entity. It will differ. It will vary. It will change. For example, for company, Schedule 3 is there. For companies, Schedule 3 is the structure for financial statements. Okay. For individuals, partnership firms, and any cooperative society, they can follow anything they want, but they generally acceptable format is T type. Like we all know, vertical balance sheet. That's what we do in our +2 classes, right? Right. Now, intended to communicate. Financial statement means it's a structured representation of historical financial information. Historical financial information. Financial means about it's all about money. Monetary information. How much we spent, how much we got, how much loan we made, how much loan we took, how much interest we paid, how many sales we got, how many purchases, what is the purchase, including their notes. For what? Why we prepare the representation to communicate to entities economic intended to communicate intended to communicate entities resources and obligation and changes therein. What will what will represent in the that representation, structured representation, entities resources and obligations, changes therein. What is resources and obligation? Resources and here resources means assets, obligations means liabilities, and changes means express income and expenses. Income and expenses. Here resources means assets, obligations means liabilities, changes therein income and expenses. At a point of time, resources and obligations, what we do at a point of time only we will prepare. Resources and obligations will mention at a point of time, at a point of time, at a point of time. Something happened. 1 second. At a point of time. And changes therein, changes means what? Income and expenditure for a period of time. Period of time. Okay, what is financial statements? Is a structure. This is the definition in IC study material. Structured representation of historical financial information, including its notes, that is intended to communicate. What we need to communicate in that? Will communicate our resources and obligations at a point of time, that is 31st March some 2020, just assume. And changes therein means incomes and expenses. Changes therein means what? Therein means the resources and obligation. Therein means changes therein means resources and obligation. So the resources and obligations at a point of time, and it changes during the period. What have changed during the period will express here in P&L account. What is left at the last date is will mention the balance sheet. Hope you got my point. Then reasonable assurance, we all discussed about it. Reasonable assurance, just now we discussed. Here, reasonable assurance means high but not absolute. High but not absolute. It is a high level of assurance actually, not absolute. Not absolute means not perfect, not 100%, but it is high. That is high, but less than 100%. Why we cannot give absolute not why we cannot give absolute assurance? Because of inherent limitation. Inherent limitation we just now discussed. You can refer once again. If you have any doubts, you can backward the video and you can see that again. Then financial reporting framework, important. We always often hear what is financial reporting framework. Okay, what is financial reporting framework? Then in short we call it FRF. In short we call it FRF. It means the framework Framework is means what? Some kind of format or a structure or a uh, or or a pattern like that. Okay, framework means a pattern. Prescribes the describes the manner. Describes the manner. Manner means what? Way. It says the way. It says the way of preparation. Preparation means making financial statements and presenting the financial statements. How we have to make financial statements, how we should create financial statements, how we present means how we make it appear for the users. Okay, financial reporting framework is prescribes the manner. Financial frame FRF is a structure actually. So FRF generally includes what is FRF here? Accounting standards. Okay, laws applicable. Then uh, GAP, generally accepted accounting principles. Then Schedule 3. Schedule 3, like whatever applicable for the entity in respect of preparation and presentation of financial statement, that is called financial reporting framework. Okay, so all this prescribe means what? It says the way. Manner means way. The way of preparation is making of financial information of entity, and also presentation. How, what is the structure, what is the format we have to follow for that. That is one thing with FRF. Hope you got some clarity about FRF, financial reporting frame. Now, important, these definitions are very important. You should clearly understand. It will repeat everywhere in the subject. It will repeat everywhere in subject. Misstatement. What is misstatement? This is as per SA 200 and 450. SA misstatement is a difference difference between difference between difference between amount, classification, presentation, disclosure. Amount, we all know amount. What is the amount? We all know amount. Expenses 200 rupees is the amount. 200 is the amount. Classification, whether one expense is include, one payment is done. This is, that is what? Revenue expenditure or capital expenditure. Okay, assume it is revenue expenditure. Under revenue expenditure, which head it has to be done? Whether it is a administration expense or a marketing expense or any other expense. That is called classification. Presentation, how it should be presented, like how we should be presented, whether it should be presented in the notes to account, or it should be presented in the balance sheet, or it should be presented in the P&L, or it should be presented as a notes to the financial statement. Okay, disclosure, what are the disclosures we have to give? Disclosure means what will disclose? Disclosure means a related party transaction will do. We cannot include in balance sheet. We make disclosures about it. Of reported. What is misstatement? Misstatement is a difference between the amount, classification, presentation, disclosure of reported financial statements. Whatever is reported already, that is okay, and difference between what is reported and what is required to be reported. What is reported and what is reported, what that is required as per financial reporting framework. Okay, what is misstatement? Difference between difference between amount, classification, presentation, and disclosure of already reported financial statements and amount that is all required to be reported. Uh, assume as per tax provisions, as per income tax, as per income tax, uh, as per income tax, actually management has calculated income tax provision. They made 2 crore income tax provision. Assume income tax provision, but actually they made some wrong calculations, and auditor has calculated it again, he checked the calculation and he made some corrections accordingly. Then he determined that actually the income tax provision should be 3 crores. Income tax provision should be 3 crores. What is the difference here? 1 crore. 1 crore is the misstatement. What is the actual amount it should be included? 3 crores. But how much they mentioned? 2 crores. Difference? Difference? 1 crore. Right? 1 crore is the misstatement. Misstatement. Based upon the professional judgment, whether it is material or not, auditor will decide. If it is a 1 crore is generally a material misstatements, not a immaterial. 1 crore is generally any big company also it is 1 crore is a misstatement only. Maybe like big companies like Amazon and all, 1 crore may not be material. Based upon the auditor's professional judgment, he will decide. Okay, that is misstatement is the difference between what is already reported, what is required to be reported as per financial reporting framework. What is financial reporting framework? All the laws, regulations, gap, schedule 3 and all that prescribe anything, that prescribe the manner of preparation and presentation of financial information. Okay, now misstatement can be due to fraud or error. Here what we discussed is error. It should be error, or it can be fraud also. Management might have done some fraud, and that's why they disclosed only, they mentioned provision as 2 crores instead of 3 crores. That might be a fraud also. It can be due to fraud. Fraud is intentionally doing. Error is unintentionally. Fraud is a misstatement that is done intentionally. Fraud is a misstatement that is done intentionally. Intentionally. But error is an unintentional act. Unintentional. It is an unintentional act. Okay. Fraud is a intentionally done. Error is an unintentional act. That is the difference. Now, here we missed this. Applicable financial reporting framework. What is applicable financial reporting framework? It means it is adopted by management or those charged with governance in preparation of presentation of financial, and that is acceptable in the view of nature of the entity and its objectives of financial statement. That is adopted, and it should be acceptable for based upon nature of the entity and objectives of the financial statements. It can be or it can be as required by law. It can be as required by law. Financial reporting framework are two types. Either it can be adopted by management on their own, should be acceptable based upon the nature of the entity and objectives of financial statement, or it should be as required by law. To take example here, adopted means there is one cooperative society. Okay, assume cooperative society, which, but there, for them there is no legal requirement, there is no prescribed format. They can adopt generally accepted balance sheet and profit and loss account. Sorry, in cooperative society, depends, if they are doing business they can prepare profit and loss account and balance sheet. Otherwise, if it is a society, I mean charitable trust, they can prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. If it is required by law, what is required by law? Schedule 3. Schedule 3 is required by law for companies. Right? That is their financial reporting framework, Schedule 3 and accounting standards. If Ind AS is applicable, Indian accounting standard is their financial reporting framework. Okay. Material misstatement. What is material misstatement? Material misstatements including omissions. Material misstatements. Misstatements including omission. It can be statement means what? Instead of 2 crores, instead of 3 crores, they mentioned 2 crores. That is a misstatement. Or they mentioned 0. They didn't mention provision only. That is a omission. So material misstatements include misstatements and omissions are considered to be material. Those will be material, considered to be material if they're individually or in the aggregate, individually or in the aggregate, are expected to influence the economic decisions of the users. Users means generally management shareholders. Generally, basically important users are shareholders or owners taken on the basis of financial statement. What is material misstatement? Any misstatement or omission will be considered as material if that misstatement if that misstatement or the omission is individually or aggregate. Individually means what? One amount itself. Aggregate means there are assume there are debtors. One debtor is having one each debtor having some small misstatement, but all together is a big misstatement. Okay, can be individually or aggregate or expect are considered to be material, and such misstatements and omissions are expected to influence the economic decisions of the users based upon the information. If they are taking any decisions, if that decision has that statement misstatement has influenced the users to take any decisions, then such misstatements or omissions will be considered as material. That is called material misstatement. Simply, material misstatements, it means what? Any misstatement, any misstatement, any misstatement or omission that individually or in aggregate expected to influence the economic decisions of the users, then that misstatement or omission will be considered as material misstatement. Hope you understood. Now, opinion. So simply we'll go with opinion. This is just introduction of opinion. In detail we'll discuss each topic will have separate essay number. I will not say any essay numbers, just will understand the topic first. Essay numbers are secondary. Topic is important. In exams they are not asking based questions based on essay numbers. Now they are going very depth. Concept is very important. Okay. Opinion. Opinions are basically two types. Unmodified opinion. This is also called as clean opinion. Clean opinion. This is also called as clean opinion. Modified opinion. Modified opinion means not clean. So there is some problem. Not clean. There is some problem in the financial statement. Okay. Unmodified, modified opinion. Modified opinion will have three. First thing is qualified opinion. Qualified opinion. Qualified adverse opinion. Then disclaimer. I will give brief about it. Qualified means what? Qualified means everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect except some area. Except some area. Except some area, everything is perfect. It is called one second. All perfect. All perfect except something. Your adverse opinion is nothing is perfect, or or nothing, or majority. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect, or majority is not perfect. Here it's like it is generally I'm saying, it's not how wordings will be different. Disclaimer means can't say, can't say, can't say anything, can't say. I When we go in depth about it, we'll understand. These are very beautifully they have prepared these standards. Okay, can't say anything. We can't express opinion only. First thing is modified. All perfect. Everything is reasonable and fair, true and fair. Modified means qualified. Everything is perfect, Baba. Only few areas there is some issue. That's what we say in qualified opinion. In adverse opinion, these are some many areas or everything is wrong here. We'll say like that. Disclaimer means we can't able to say anything. We have conducted audit, we can't able to say anything. That's what disclaimer is. Hope you got some point. Hope you understood. Basic, like brief about this. Yeah, this charts actually sir has prepared for May 2020 and November 2020, but fortunately there are no changes till now after that also. It is applicable for December 21 exam and also May 22. If any amendments are there, we will cover separately. We can cover separately. Hope many important keywords we have covered.